Well, good morning, my Teacher King family. How is everybody today? Hope you are doing well. And as we see, gold broke 4,200 finally. Just a second. Just a second. So let's take a look at our gold and silver. I want to definitely get into problem solving, especially with football coming up. Wow, here we go. What a happy day. 11:01. It's 11:01. We got 42.45. Finally, the gold is getting over $40 or $4,000. My mistake. 62.35 on silver. So we're starting to almost get back to where we're still way under where we should be, but we're finally seeing we're seeing that the train's not like we can see the light at the end of the tunnel. We're still in the tunnel, but the lights are starting to come on, which is finally good. I think the U.S. has lost all the wars. They don't seem to know what they're doing, but that brings us to problem solving the defense contractors and the missiles, which we'll get into. So gold and silver up. Happy day. And again, it's paper. Again, it's options. And again, everybody's buying physical gold and silver, and we talk physical gold and silver here. We only use the paper because there is no way to get a price in physical gold. There's no price. The banks have kind of stalled it because they can't handle competition. So basically, it's competition, right? So if the banks have their fake dollars, the Ponzi scheme, fiat currency that's worth nothing, they don't want you in gold because they can't compete with it. And this is the problem with monopolies. They never work. They never can work. The whole point of capitalism and free markets is to allow competition, and then then let the producers fight over you. That's what we want. We want Crest and Colgate. We want Mercedes and Ford. We want Ferrari and Maserati. We want them to compete. It gives a better product. It gives a cheaper price, and that's why we love capitalism. That's why when I these communism things, I cringe. Well, there won't be money, and everybody will get what they want, and it's like the dumbest rebuttal I've ever heard in my life. There's what are you talking about? I mean, you see it in sports all the time. That's why we love sports, is the competition. The NFL, look at KC, Mahomes, they get Kenneth Walker. Seattle, the Rams, so all these teams competing. New England gets better. Well, why? If it's a monopoly, New England wouldn't have gotten better. How would sports work in a monopoly when one team wins every year? and everybody else just doesn't care. It's kind of like baseball where the Dodgers win every year. Well, I've won the last 2 years, although Toronto should have had a bad call in that one game. But Toronto should have won. And then you've got, it's not like total monopoly for the Dodgers, but it's a real stupid league where the Dodgers basically have no salary cap. They can spend whatever they want. And what the funny part is, they're the only ones who seem to care about winning. The Tigers owner's a billionaire. He doesn't care about winning. The Yankees do want to win. The Mets seem to want to win. Milwaukee looks like now, hey, we want to win, but they stumbled on the Mizorowski. But when they get good, these teams want to win. The Tigers do not want to win. They never want to win. They always want to stay cheap. Oh, let's get the next pitcher in here. Well, Scooble got good. Let's not pay him because we don't want to win. So we're going to trade him and save all this money. And, Casey Mize looks good. Let's get rid of him for prospects that if they become Scooble and Casey Mize, they'll just get rid of anyway. They don't really want to get good and compete. And this is Illich's problem. He doesn't want to compete. He has $1 billion. But yet he would just prefer to make his money and go on. He's like, I don't give a fuck if we win or lose as long as I make money. And these suckers come out to see Scooble or Mize or now who they coming out to see. And that's the problem. The bottom line is the Tigers don't want to compete. He's about making money. So certain teams don't want to compete, just want to make money and look at it as a business. And there's no incentive to win. Now the father did; he wanted to win. He had the incentive. I remember watching the softball. I think it was Stroh's or Little Caesars, and these guys were fucking great. He was paying those players. He'd pay the players to play softball. He wanted to win softball. And yet, when he got to the Tigers, he wanted to win. He just had bad management. But now you have his son not wanting to compete. He doesn't care if the Dodgers. I will give the Dodgers Scooble, and it's almost like they gave it to him. Oh, what's that? We'll get balls and bats. Yeah, okay, that's a fair trade. You didn't make a fair trade. You're a fucking idiot. But that's what we got, and that's what really economics is competition. We can go to 3 different grocery stores. I can go to one store to get meat that's much better than the Meijer's and Walmart store, and it's the same price. But if I want to get veggies, I go to Meijer's or Walmart because it is cheaper and it's broccoli. I mean, what's the difference? So you have variety and options. It's not a monopoly, so you can do what you want. And that's the beauty of capitalism, which is what nobody understands. They look at the corruption of capitalism, which is by the government who corrupts everything and prints the money and they steal. They're a bunch of thieves. That's not capitalism. That's just greedy motherfuckers, just like the mafia. Even the mafia, if you watch The Godfather, it was 5 families. They had competition. So that's what you have here is you must have competition. That's the key to everything, right? And what if there's a monopoly? There's only, you have to date this girl and you don't like her. You have to date a blonde, you like a brunette. You're fucked. So you have to have competition. And women really freak out competing because especially the Russian women, they want to get all dressed up and put on the makeup just to go to the grocery store. And they're very much into looking good. And it's a pride thing with them. It's not that they like to look good. They like to look good because they have pride. And I'm going to look my best. And that's great. America, Carmen was here and we went out. We went I think we went to Universal Studios in California, and she was laughing at the girls. Or we went to Vegas too, and she's laughing at the girls like they look like pigs. Welcome to America, Carmen. In Romania, they never would have looked like they'd always looked their best. And Carmen always did her makeup and put on nice clothes and looked her best. And but that's in different cultures. And here we don't give a shit, right? Our women look like pigs and really don't care about it. They don't go out in their makeup and they go out in sweats and they're not attractive half the time. They can get attractive, but they usually don't. Once in a while, you'll see a girl who's made up and everything, but usually they don't understand competition, or they just don't care to look. They don't have any pride. Let's put it that way. And anyway, that's the whole role of competition and what America offers it. With business, you can compete with other businesses, and then they battle it out, and we win. That's the idea, and we're losing that, and it's terrible. And we have these wars, and it's ridiculous. There's no what's the war for? There's no Hitler. There's no Joe Stalin. There's no what are we at war for? Putin seems like a nice guy. Putin, seems like a good leader. He seems smart, highly intelligent. It's got gold. What a guy. Just a second. So this is what we have. So we have like I was watching this Amazing Race. I've been watching a few of the seasons. I'm bored of movies. And they go to Vietnam and they're singing this song on socialism. I almost threw up. Socialism is the light, and socialism is this, and we'll have socialism and we'll be free. And I'm like, I'm shaking my head going, where are these idiots learning this shit? So don't go to Vietnam. You want to stay away from socialism. At least most of the other countries in Europe have somewhat of capitalism. And Russia is very much capitalist, not communist. Used to be, but not now. At least I don't think so. So anyway, when I'm watching Vietnam is all fired up for socialism. It'll be the change. We'll all be free. We'll all be saved. And I'm like, brother, what the fuck you're talking about? Whoever's feeding you this crap, you guys don't learn. And it gets back to my major premise about everything. You have to understand and learn. I was in the hot tub yesterday and talking to a guy, don't know him, never seen him before. And he says, did you vote in the election? I says, no. Why would I vote for corrupt politicians run by the Zionists? Why would I vote for that? I don't want that. I says, there needs to be 2 or 3 governments competing with each other. Because if we had, let's say, 2 governments, and not Democrat and Republic, government A and government B, and they competed with each other, what would happen? Everything would get better because they'd want you to vote for them or vote for them. And that would be the only way a government can work. Now, I'm not saying there should be no government like the communists want. What I'm saying is you do want an honest government that runs by the Constitution. We have the best government if we would stick to it. But why do we get away from the Constitution? I don't know. So I told them, then we didn't get into gold and silver, but I got into, what did we get into? It was about government and free market. And then I got into the defense contractors with them. I says, it's crazy. We need a war to have a market for the defense contractors. I says, it's not like we're going to 7-Eleven to pick up a Patriot missile. So who do they sell the missiles to? Oh, we need a war. So people have to go and buy missiles. They create a demand for it. They create a market for it. How sick is that? Why are you building products that there's no demand for and you need a war to create one? Behold, Michigan's favorite son, tease money. I was pretty hot in baseball yesterday, Behold. I don't know. I got to look at the Tiger game. I ended up playing Detroit under because they announced Milton as the starter. And so I said, okay, he's an under pitcher. 2-1 on the free plays, but everything else won. I lost the Yankees over and I lost Arizona, but I was red hot. But we'll get to that in a minute. But this is what a market is. If you have competition, so you're looking for a girl to date and you go to Russia and they're all wearing makeup and in good shape and, beautiful figures and they're nice to you, then they're competing with each other for you. Here, it's just not the same. Oh, you talk to me. Oh my God. It's just insanity. Girls here have no conception, and I blame the schools that, oh, sex is bad. You don't want sex. Boys are bad. Oh, and it's insane what they're teaching them, and the girls are too stupid to understand it, so they go along with it. And you just shake your head at the girl. You just roll your eyes, going, "Yeah, I need to go back to Russia, or you." Well, I would go to Ukraine if the war was over, or Romania. A lot of pretty girls there, and versus here, it's a joke. Amsterdam's a little better competitive wise. You go into the red light district and they're all lined up for you. There's 50 girls, very pretty, very sexy, and they want you. Oh, they want your money, but that's the difference. I mean, here it's a joke. Behold, when it comes to attracting women, there is no competition for the teas. Well, I know how to talk to them. That's for sure. I mean, they're all looking for. They're looking to be themselves. They're looking for safety. They're not looking for money, and they're not really looking for looks. They want to be themselves and be able to, trust you. I think the key is trust. So Daria can say, I'm X and I'm Y. And I go, oh, well, that's okay. So she can tell me all this stuff. So that's what they're looking for in a man. They can be open and honest to you, and you're open and honest and you respect them. That's it. You get any girl you want like that. I don't care how pretty or what. At the end of the day, they're really not interested in your money. They like that you have money, but they're interested in the honesty and they can trust you. You have that, you're fine. But that's more in Europe. The girls they're trying to attract you like bees to honey. But here, the girls are out of their fucking minds. I don't know what they are. Very difficult. They take it wrong. They're worried about sex for some reason. Sex is very pleasurable. I don't get what their problem is with it. But anyway, I mean, that's the whole thing. So you can see the competition of the girls in Russia, Ukraine, Romania, where they're very pretty. They go out they go to the grocery store. They got makeup on. They put on some nice clothes, and they walk with pride. And that's very attractive, right? So anyway, that's the thing with competition. And when you create a product, it's good to have competition. It makes the product better. And when you get to the military and they're making Raytheon or Northrop Grumman or GE, I guess, makes, they're making a product, but they need a war for it. I'm doing a Patriot missile. Like I said, you're not going to find that at 7-Eleven. So we need a war to get a country, because that's only a country can afford our stuff, that will pay, the lobbyists will pay the Senate and the Congress and all these idiots in government. Here's $1 million. Let's make sure we keep the wars going. You're killing people, you fucking idiots. And that's what they don't get. So they need to have the war to create a market for these missiles. Do we need defense contractors? Not at all. Right now, you could win a war with fucking the what are they called? The drones. You go anywhere over with drones. That's what Iran's doing. Iran won the war with just drones. Trump says he beat the Navy. They didn't have a Navy. They had 5 guys in speedboats, probably doing drugs and oil back and forth. They don't have a Navy. They don't need a Navy. They're on a fucking desert with mountains. Where am I going to put the boat? And then they defeated the Air Force. Their Air Force is drones. They didn't defeat any Air Force. They don't have an Air Force. They don't need an Air Force. Yeah, sure, they have a regular airport and regular planes, United American, but they do not have an Air Force because they don't need an Air Force. They live underground, some mile down. Bombs can't penetrate it. Trump, the negotiator, where is he negotiating? He's a big negotiator with buildings in Manhattan that his dad gave him. Basically, this guy's an idiot. And so he's trying to bomb people that are a mile underground with missiles that can't even penetrate it. And at what point does he not realize that he has no chance? But he says, "Oh, we won the war." Wait, you're down 38-0. I don't think you won the war. Same thing with Russia. Russia's up 73-0, and he's trying to say, well, Ukraine has a chance. If we pull 5 onside kicks and throw 5 Hail Marys, then Ukraine can win. Otherwise, Russia's got you 73-0, and just their ground attack running right through your defense. And it's just, and the bigger question, why is there a war? And the biggest answer that nobody will tell you is the U.S. is bankrupt. The U.S. needs assets. And the U.S. is after the oil in Venezuela and Russia and Iran and the gold. They all have oil and gold. The U.S. is after it because we're broke. And you figure, why are we broke? We have fake money. We have monopoly money. Why can't we buy gold? We have oil, but we don't buy gold. We have oil that we're giving away that is now going to get very expensive. I filled up yesterday for 407, and we're not going to see too much of that in the future. It'll start with a 5 or a 6. Because it's not inflation, it's supply. You cut supply, prices go up. That's why can any of these people not understand what inflation is and what prices are? It just blows my mind. Inflation is you printed the money. It has no value. So you need more money to buy cornflakes. Cornflakes didn't raise their price. It's the inflation. So it's just the money's worth less. So you need more. That's all it is. So you're just sitting there. I hope I don't lose this as I'm starting. If I do go off, I will do a second video, or since it's only 20 minutes, I'd probably restart it. But I'm getting this freeze, which then my internet goes and then it blows up this thing. And again, it's only on YouTube. I can watch anything else. I can put on Netflix or anything, and I don't have internet problems. Anyway, so that's really the key to it. That's the reason we're at war, is we're bankrupt. Why are we bankrupt? Because we don't have any gold and the dollar is worthless, because if you keep printing the dollar to death, it's worthless. Now they think the petrodollar keeps the value of the dollar going. Well, if everybody has to use dollars to buy oil, then that will keep the value of the dollar because there's demand for it. And that's a bunch of bullshit. It doesn't matter. If you still print the money to zero, if you print, it's like, I want to say about $100 trillion has been printed. I looked at M2, it was like 25 trillion, but I know there's other pieces to that have been printed. So I'm calling it 100 trillion. Either way, it makes it worthless. That's the problem with the gold standard that these governments don't like, is that they're limited. They can only print as many dollars as there are gold. And therefore, when they need to do bribes and payoffs and stuff like that, they don't have, they can't print anymore. So that's why we're off of gold, and then we can't print anymore. And then, but what does it do to the value of gold? It makes it go to the moon because people realize the dollar's worthless. They've been printed to death, and therefore you go to gold because you can't print it. See, gold, the dollar, if you print too much, loses its value. We're at that point. The dollar's worth zero. But with gold, you can't do the printing, so it can't lose its value. So if you just step back as a normal person and go, well, what do I want? Well, let's see. I have something with no value and something with a lot of value. Yeah, I probably want something with a lot of value or something that the value can't go down on. So that's kind of what you have. But that's kind of the reason for the wars. We're trying to go to Russia and steal their oil. And that's happened a lot to Russia. When people try to invade Russia, it's for one reason, it's for the oil. Hitler went for the oil. We're going for the oil. It's just amazing that people try to invade it and it's to steal the oil. They have gold and diamonds there, natural gas. They have a lot of natural resources. That's why people want to invade Russia. That's why all of Europe is trying to fight Russia, because they want a piece of the pie. They want that. Now, they can have it if they would negotiate with Putin. I mean, Germany was getting natural gas until the U.S. killed the pipeline there. The gold and silver doesn't leave the country, and the oil leave. They export the oil and the natural gas, but not the gold, not the silver. That won't leave. The diamonds, I think they get out. And that's why that's why NATO wants to invade Russia. And they're using Ukraine for it, but they're using a lot of their troops. Well, they don't have troops, but it's like CIA troops. CIA, MI, James Bond's over there. And countries are sending their agents to watch a lot of Mission Impossible. And they're going to do that. But Russia's just too powerful. It's like, what are you doing? It's like trying to run on the 80 beers, 85 beers. Yeah, it ain't going to happen. You better work on a different strategy to beat the Bears, because you're not going to run on the 85 beers and get a yard. So that's kind of what you have there. And it kind of cleans up everything. So again, the most important thing is competition, because then the two producers, your computer and your laptop and another laptop and another laptop are competing. They're going to lower their price. They're going to improve quality. They're going to improve chips to get you to buy it. And that's what so who wins? We win. We get a better computer at a cheaper price because they're competing. And that's the golden rule right there. We buy gold because you can't inflate it, and we make sure it's real. Some guy in the hot tub was asking me, how do you know it's real? I says, well, if you go to the store where I go to, I mean, first of all, bring a magnet, and the magnet won't stick. If it sticks, you run out of the store. If it doesn't stick, then there's a machine they can test it with. Or another jewelry store I went to has, like, they put, I don't know, acid on it or something. Like, the guy was using a dropper on Alyssa's earring to prove it was real. He says, yeah, that's 14 karat. So they have but I would do that, and then I would buy. Now I go to the same place, and he's done that for me, so I trust him. So I just walk in and buy. I don't need him to research every time. Now he does. If I bring it in, they do research, is it real or not? So you feel pretty good that you're buying real gold. And then as I say, you buy the eagle, the buffalo from the U.S. You buy the Britannia, or the kangaroo from Australia, the cougaran, the maple leaf, and Philharmonic from Australia. I've seen some Russian ones and some Chinese pandas, but I stay away from those. Not because I don't like them, but again, I'd rather just stick to, everybody will take the eagles. You give a Russian one, I don't know if that is going to happen or not. All right. So we can come back to that. Ooh, 42.62. What a happy day. It's up 167. Finally, they're letting the the parking brake off, and we could see 4,500 by Friday. We know it's going up to the moon. We know there's too much demand, and that's good. So if you're thinking of selling a little bit, now you're getting close. And I'm glad I had to have the money like for month that for August 1st. I needed a little bit of cash, but I only sold a half ounce. Now I can sell the other half. That was at about 4,000, and now I can sell the other half at 40. It's at 4,200, so I can sell that and make a lot more money if I wanted to. All right, let's see. So let's go through baseball, and we'll walk through problem solving. So every day I come in and I go through the games and I problem solve the games. That's what I do every day. And you watch me go through it. And then I give you free picks based on problem solving. So let's go through yesterday's games. Baltimore wins 3-1 over California. We don't play the game. It's critical this weekend we look at the new box scores because players have switched. Some I'm seeing minor league players come up because of injuries, and I look at the box scores, and there's two guys hitting 0. I'm like, what the fuck? The Yankee game. I'm like, why is the Yankee game under? And I see two guys with the 0 batting averages. You're like, fuck. So you've got to recalibrate going, wait a minute, they got some weak. The Tigers have one guy who was like 1 for 1. He's hitting 1,000. Then he went 0 for 1. Yeah, now he's hitting 500. It's like, yeah, probably not good. So Baltimore 3-1. We don't play it. Cincinnati 5, Oakland 4. It was a push. It was a 9, and I didn't bet it. We got the Mets 6, Cleveland 2. I'm surprised I didn't play this one, but I didn't like the pitchers. So again, this did go over 7.5. Went to 8, but again the pitchers. Here's our free play. Jesus wins 5-0, and that's why we play Jesus. But you got to understand with Jesus or Scanes or Sanchez or Zach Wheeler, they're not going to win every game. They're not going to go 35-0. So you can't get upset when we do have the loser if we consistently play Jesus and we consistently play Sanchez and they keep winning and they win 9 out of 10. That's how you got to look at it. So here we have Jesus. He wins 5-0. I do the same thing in football when I problem solve it and we go with our picks and they do lose occasionally. We go 75%, which means we lose 25%. But you can't get all upset as if I'm going to go 100%. You have to realize that I'm going to go, that the method works, but it's different percentages. So you have to realize that. So therefore, when you go, oh, okay, but KC's won 9 out of 10. There's the loser. Okay, they're always going to be 9 out of 10. 8 out of 10. That's what we're betting on. When I give you the teaser trends, that's what we're looking at. What was it? Denver was 17-2 in a teaser last year. So you do have 2 losers, but you do have 17 winners. And aggregate, you're way ahead betting on them. So yes, they might lose once in a while, but it's just the nature of the game. And but the bet was sound. We bet a 17-2 team. Well, how can you bitch about that? But you got to understand, I'm doing like here, I'm playing Jesus. Jesus wins 5-0. But that's the point. And he's going to win most of them. But when we lose with Philadelphia with Jesus, well, it just happens. But the thesis is bet on Jesus. And here he goes, 5-0. So that was first free play, 3 units. The Yankees 2, St. Louis 0. This was the game I was referring to. Where the fuck is these were lousy pitchers. It was Carl Weathers against some McGreevy on St. Louis, and the Yankees win 2-0. And I look at the box scores, and I got guys hitting 0, going, yeah, I better adjust the Yankees. even though the pitchers gave me the over, this is where the hitters can't hit. So they weren't going to hit these bad pitchers. So I lose the Yankees over 8.5, 2 units. Boston 14, the White Sox 2. I don't play this. Don't know the pitcher. Dean Martin pitched for Chicago. I don't know who pitched for Boston. I was hoping I had it over, but I didn't. Atlanta 4, Miami 2. I played Atlanta 2 units, and they won 4-2. KC 8, Minnesota 2. I don't like these teams like Washington. I don't know what they're going to do. Minnesota could have won 8-2, and I'd be like, yeah, okay. KC wins 8-2. I'm like, I didn't know they could get 8 runs. So I didn't play that. Milwaukee 4, Pitt 2. I played Milwaukee, even though it was Drone and not Mizorowski. I did play them. Pitt had a week, and it was an under. And I think I liked it under, but I was scared at 7.5. I'm always scared of Pitt's hitting. And they got 7 hitters, and so did Milwaukee's got a lot of hitters. So it's hard to play these two teams under. But so I just played Milwaukee in a 4-2. So note how I problem solved that. I know both teams are over. I look at the pitchers. I think it was January Jones for Pittsburgh, and Milwaukee had their guy. But I could, when I went into the pitching, I could see Jones was losing. Milwaukee's guy was winning. So I played that trend. And I wanted to go over, but I think both pitchers were pitching unders. So anyway, it stayed under, but I won with Milwaukee. I problem solved the game. Texas 5, the Niners 4. We have Texas over 8, 2 units. That wins. I was a little worried. It was 2-2 in the 6th, and I need 8, and I'm like, I'm fucked. And then next thing I do, I see 4-4 in the 8th, and I go, it's a winner because somebody's got to score the 5th run. And I got over 8. So that was a winner. The Cubs Dodgers, I play under 9 with Scooble on the mound against Armada. He was pretty good, Assad, and he's a very good ERA. And the Cubs kill him 5-1. I loved it. So under 9, the Cubs, and that was 2 units. And I thought about giving you that as a free play, but I gave you 3. So Houston 7, Toronto 2. I don't play it. Again, Toronto's not hitting at all. Houston sometimes, win some, lose some. Tampa Bay 9, Colorado 7. I give you that as a free play. It is over 11. They get 16. And it was just the pitching was so bad. And, I hate laying the 11, but at Colorado, maybe you can lay 11 with these terrible pitchers. Tampa, I'm impressed, scored 9 runs. Colorado got 7. So we go over 11. That's Philly free play, Colorado free play. And then the loser free play, San Diego 9, Arizona 4. Arizona had a good pitcher. San Diego didn't. So I was a little shocked. I saw it was like 4-0 San Diego. I'm like, fuck. But this is the problem with San Diego, Arizona. You don't know what you're getting. So there's teams like are very inconsistent. So you don't know what you get. Anyway, so Arizona's the loser. And Detroit under 8.5. And Detroit wins 8-0. It's a winner. I'm under 8.5. 2 units. And this was a late bet because I saw Milton, who's a pretty good pitcher for the Tigers, with the really low ERA, and Seattle's not hitting. And Detroit won 8-0. And so we just win under 8.5. But again, this was initially when we looked, I didn't know who the pitcher was. Then as I'm scrolling, look at the scores, and this is a late game, I see that it's Milton. Now, what'll happen? Here's Detroit, Mr. Cheap. He's kind of got Scooble and Mize, and now he's got Milton, who's really good. This guy's got a low 2 ERA. So wait till his contract runs out. They'll trade him for minor leaguers. That's what Detroit does. They don't want to compete. They don't. The guy just is there to make money. He's not there to compete. So let's see where Milton is in a year or 2. Now, what you should do is sign Milton to a 5-year extension right now. And you get him cheap because you can see how good a pitcher he is. Now, will he get hurt? Of course. He'll probably end up with Tommy John surgery because they're trying to rotate the ball too much, spin it. But that's what I would do. If you can see, if you really want to be good and you can't afford the schoolball $40 million contract, which they could, let's not forget the guy's a billionaire. Illich, his Little Caesars, is a billionaire. He dies, gives it to Junior, Prime Junior here. Why can't he afford schoolball? I don't know what the Dodgers want with him. He pitched 6 innings. Yeah, we'll go through that. He pitched six innings. Let's go through the schoolball recap. So they lose 5-1. Schoolball pitched 6 innings, gave up 4 hits, 2 runs, 2 earned, a home run, 2 walks, 6 strikeouts, 3.0 ERA. I really don't see it. I mean, the guy, he pitched 85 pitches. Where's he going after 85? Why are they pulling him after 6 innings? And then what happens? Bessa comes in, 2/3 of an inning, doesn't even get through the 7th inning, 2 hits, 2 runs, and he's got a 3.03 ERA. So as soon as he leaves, the Cubs are all excited. Schoolball's out of the game. This guy comes in, and they get 2 runs on him. And not even in 2/3 of an inning. Then the next guy, Diaz, in 2/3 of an inning, gives up 2 hits and another run with his 9 ERA. Why is this guy on the team, Diaz? And then Jack Dreyer comes in and gets the last out of the 8th. So as soon as Schoolball leaves, they give up 3 runs. He gives up 2 runs. It's a waste of time. So you got some guy who goes 6 innings, 85 pitches, doesn't even go 100 pitches. He's probably still injured between the elbow and the Tommy John surgery and all the other crap he's had. You're getting an injured 32-year-old. You want to sign him to a 10-year contract? No way. Now, if I'm negotiating with Schoolball, I'm forcing him to go 8 innings. I'm going to give you $5 million. But if you go 8 innings a game, I'll give you $15 million. And if you win 20 games, I'll give you another $15 million. And that's how you're going to earn your money. I'm not going to flat out give you $40-50 million for 10 years. That's ridiculous. You're going to pitch at 42. Yeah. So the most I would do is maybe a 2 or 3 year contract with them. If he doesn't like it, go fuck yourself. Why would the other teams want him and pay that kind of money for a 80 pitch, 6 inning pitcher? Oh, but in the playoffs, I only pitch 5 innings. I don't even go 9 innings. So you're not going to win me any playoff games. So why would I give you all this money to pitch 2/3 of a game? I need you to pitch the whole game. I need you to go 9 innings. The guy on the Dodgers did. One of the Mr. Fuji guys, he pitched 9 innings against Toronto. He pitched 9 innings a couple days ago. I don't know. They're all the same. I don't know what his name is. Yamamoto or something like that. Fuji. Anyway, this is the point. I need a guy who's going to go 8 innings because in today's game, the bullpens suck. Right? So you have Schoolball pitch 6 innings, and then you have 4 bullpen guys come out to pitch the final 2 innings because it only went 8 in. The Cubs wouldn't bat in the 9th because they had the 5-1 lead. So what is it that you think? What do you think is why am I listening to the agent? Go fuck off. I don't need him that badly. He's not that good. He doesn't complete the game. He goes 85 pitches. This is what I'm going to pay an 85 pitch, 5 inning, 6 inning pitcher. Well, he won the Cy Young twice. Against whom? Who was there? Who did he beat? Nobody. Skanes is in the National League, as is Mizorowski, as is Sanchez, as is Zach Wheeler, as is Jesus, Chris Sale. They're all in the National League. Burns on Cincinnati. But who did he beat? Who's in the American League? Nobody. Max Fried, but he's injured. Now you got Steve Schittler. Now Skubal's in the National League. He won't win it. He's not better than Mizorowski. I don't. See, that's where I would put my money is a Mizorowski, not a Skubal. Skubal's all done. He's over the hill already. He's 32. Guy's a loser anyway. He's a quitter. It's not what you want on your team. You want a guy with passion who wants to win. Mizorowski, Scanes. So it's very frustrating. But that's what you have. So that's my point about I can problem solve Skubal. See, this is purely subjective, me beating on Skubal, because he I don't know the guy. I don't care about the guy. I don't like him or dislike him. I don't know him. But what I am saying is superficially watching the guy. I can make those comments. I'm telling you what I see. I tell you what I see with Lamar. He sucks. Josh Allen's okay. Mahomes is good. Even though our one friend doesn't like Mahomes, he doesn't understand. Because if you understood that Travis Kelce's old and they don't have a running attack, and Mahomes is running all over the place and his receivers can't get open, you want to blame Mahomes. That's like a guy who throws 5 interceptions and they're like Kelce, where he catches it, taps it up in the air, and the defensive guy gets it, and you want to blame Mahomes on that interception. And I'm like, you're crazy. You can't blame Mahomes for that interception. You can't blame Mahomes for certain defensive things. Got my foot. Rough day with my foot. I think my foot I've got down to caffeine. I try to get, if I nibble, and I know I shouldn't have sugar, but I'll have like a little ice cream cone or bar or cookies once in a while, a little piece of pie or something, a little donut. And I'm starting to realize it's the caffeine. I thought it was the sugar, the chocolate, but it's the caffeine in the chocolate that I think's making my foot. Because if I drink like diet squirt, which is like a lemon lime, I don't have a problem. So I got to stay away from caffeine. But my foot was fine. Monday I went to the beach and walked the lake, and my foot blew up again yesterday. And I don't know what I didn't have meat. I didn't have, I think what I had, I don't know what I had. I had something. Oh, I had a diet Coke from the gas station. I was really thirsty from walking the lake. So I got one of those, the vending, the fountain drink, and it was Diet Coke because I didn't want the sugar, but I got the caffeine and I totally missed that. All of a sudden, my foot's really hurting, and I'm thinking I didn't eat it. I didn't have any chocolate. Yeah, but you had caffeine. So that's problem solving my foot, I believe, is the caffeine, which is in the chocolate. So if I have a chocolate ice cream or a chocolate cookie, it's caffeine in the chocolate. So I got to avoid that crap. Anyway, more problem solving. All right, so let's take a look at August the 4th. Jesus, no, it's not even that. It's August the 5th. Okay. August the 5th of August. And we open at 210 and it's 11:50. Talion against Hunter Brown for Houston. So Toronto goes to Houston. Toronto is not hitting. Houston hit a lot yesterday, but that goes back to the pitcher. Which team did Toronto play, and which team did Houston play? And Talon's lost his last 4, and he's 1-7 his last 8 for Toronto. Bloor Street, Young Street, Spadina. We have family there, so this is fun. The names of the streets are funny. All right, gave up 4 runs, 2, 1, 4, and 7. This guy is an over, and this guy's a loser. And the one was a 1-inning game. All right, Hunter Brown. The Hunter, he's from Detroit. And he's 4-2 his last 6. And he got injured March 31st and then didn't come back till June 16th. So since he came back, he's 3-5. He's 5-3. Some overs, some unders. Depends who he plays. 6 games, 3 runs, 7, 3, 4, a 7-inning shutout and a 2. And that was against the White Sox. They won 4-1. So figure he's going to give up a few runs. Houston's favored 217, 8.5. Let's go Houston here. And the problem solved is Talon stinks. He loses all the games. Now, yes, it's a 217. I'm just going to go 2 units on this game for Houston because I'm still a little queasy with Hunter Brown, but this problem is solved by betting against Talon. So when he pitches, they lose. He gives up a lot of runs. Houston scored. Toronto is not scoring. They got 2 runs yesterday and shouldn't get much more against Hunter Brown. One thing I am noticing when I go through these scores and box scores every night, this 3-4 run first inning. And I've seen it with Scanes and I've seen it with Sanchez. It'll be, they give up 4, you're down 4-0 and it's the first inning. He gave up like a 3-run homer or something. And you're like, how does he not get out of the first inning? Or inevitably there'll be this big 4 or 5 run inning. I've never seen so many big innings in my life watching these box scores because I'll see a 6-run 8th, an 8-run 6th, a 9-run 5th. I mean, the manager doesn't get the pitchers out. Part of it is the stupid rule where they got to pitch the 3 batters. So I bring in, and again, the other part is the lefty thing. So, there's a lefty up. I'm going to put in a lefty, and they go to righty. So what did that accomplish? But then the next few guys are righty, and you gotta have the guy pitch the 3 batters. What kind of a rule is that? I only want him in for 1 batter. I don't want him in for. Well, it takes time. Well, people are too stupid to sit in a 9-inning game. Really? Oh well, it's got it under 2 hours. Really? Yeah, because people are too stupid to be have the concentration level to spend 2.5 hours at the ballpark because it's such a difficult sport to watch. How do they watch soccer? Jesus Christ. All right. We got the Dodgers at the Cubbies. Wind's blowing out today. Cubbies 118 and 10. Lauer for the Dodgers and Amanamaga for the Cubbies. Lauer 438. And let's see what he's up to. Whoa, Lauer. Jesus, he's won the last 9. Wow, he's 9-1 the last 10. It's going to be hard to bet against the Dodgers here. Some over, so under. Last 6, 3-0, 3-3, 3-0. So he gives up a few runs, but he wins 9 out of 10. That's the streak we're looking for. Amana Mega from Mr. Fuji's hometown in Kitakasushu, Japan. And they are broke. They have run out of money. Japan, they are bankrupt now. The U.S. is trying to keep them alive because we need somebody to buy our treasuries, but Japan's gone. You inflate, you kill the money, it's gone. You can't help the money. You can't print more Japanese yen to make the dollar stronger. It just makes it weaker. Oh, but they're in government. They know what they're doing. All right, 5-3, Amana Mega. Last 6, 2 runs, 1-0-0-2. This guy's red hot. What do we do here? We got a Manamega who's really hot and Lauer who's won 9 out of 10. This is a very difficult game. So we're going to have to look at totals. And Lauer, 3 overs, 3 unders, not helping us. And he gives up a lot of threes. His last 6, 3-0, 3-3-3, and 0. So the Cubs should hit him. They did hit Skubal. They did get 2 runs off of Skubal in the 6 innings he pitched. Amana Mega has, let's see, few unders, few overs. He doesn't give up runs. Let's look at him at home. Versus the Yankees, they lost 2-0. Versus well, he's 5-3 his last 8. Versus Minnesota, they won 10-1. Versus St. Louis, 3-0. Versus San Diego, 3-2. Versus Colorado, 5-4. Why am I saying this? Because I only want to look at his home games. So he loses to the Yankees 2-0. I think that was on Sunday Night Baseball. They get 10. Minnesota gets 1 run. St. Louis gets shut out. San Diego gets 3. Colorado gets 4. So he doesn't give up a lot of runs. So let's go to Lauer, and we'll do the same thing with him. We really got to go down the rabbit hole to problem solve this. At Philly, they won 9-5. He gave up 5 to Philly, 4 at Oakland, 1 against Minnesota, 3 to Pittsburgh, 5 to Arizona. So pretty fucking good. I don't know. This is really difficult because we know both teams can hit. It was 5-1 with Skubal against whoever pitched for Chicago, Assad, who's pretty good from Mexico. So here we got Lauer with a high ERA and Amana Mega with the 3.69, but his last 6, the ERA is like 1.5. It's a tough one. Batting, I think, is fairly even here. Crow Armstrong is very good. Shotani, too much pitching outfield or DA, whatever the fuck he's doing. He's hitting 290, but it's, just if you just pitch him over his belt, if you keep the pitches high, you can't hit. He's a golfer, right? So if you put the ball in the dirt, he just swings up at it. But if he has to swing level, he's in trouble. So that's how you pitch to Shotani. But the rest, look at yesterday. They had like 7 good hitters in the lineup. They got 1 run. So I don't know. The wind must be blowing out for it to be a 10 total. It's hard to play a 10 total with a Manamega with his 1.5 ERA the last 6 games. So I got to pass on this. I wanted to bet one of the pitchers, but they're both hot. Lauer's probably a little hotter. Manamega's 5-3 and Lauer's 9-1. So kind of leads a little to the Dodgers. If you want to bet the game, I would suggest the Dodgers with Lauer being 9-1. But Amana Mega is getting hard to hit. So I'm going to pass. I can't give a free play here because I don't know. I'm not doing anything here. But if I had to, I would say take the Dodgers very small. The 49ers at the Cowboys. Interesting game. The Cowboys 152, 8.5. Emmett Smith's going to play today. Wasn't who 663 against Bradford, who we got a 0 on. Weisenhunt, who the fuck is this guy? Pitched 4 games, 5 innings, so he is a starter, I guess. It's 2-2. First 2 were over, last 2 were under, which is amazing because he gave up 6 runs last game, and they lost 7-0 in 3 innings. So pretty good bullpen, but we got to see the trades, right? 2 runs, 4 and 6. This Weisenhunt stinks. This should be over 8.5. We got Cody Bradford from Baylor, and he hasn't pitched last year or this year. He is a starter in 23 at a 5.30 ERA and 24 3.54 ERA. So if he's the starter and wasn't all right. I know what to do here. Tampa Bay, Colorado. This makes no sense. Tampa Bay's 155. The total on the game is 11. And I got Nick Martinez with the 2.78 ERA against Shigano, who's terrible with the 4.50. I mean, when you look at the 11, you're scratching your head. Nick Martinez has won 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. He's 6-1 his last 7. 1 run, 2 runs, 1 run, 0, and then a 6. See how it mysteriously he gives up 6 runs against the White Sox. They lose 6-1. And in the prior 2, 4, 5 games, he doesn't give up 6 runs. But then we look at Sugano, another Mr. Fuji disciple. You know, he's a manager for a lot of these wrestler pitchers. Sugano got hot. He's 7-1 his last 8. Wow. His last 6, 8 runs, 1, 7, 3, 2, and 1. More importantly, let's look at his home. They beat Milwaukee 5. No. They beat KC 3-1. They beat Cincy 10-3. He beat Pitt 2-1. God, that's amazing in Colorado, a 2-1 game with Pitt. 7-3, they beat the Cubbies. So most of them are not. Cincinnati was 10-3 at home. How does he beat Pitt 2-1 there? So Sugano's hot. So now what do you do? Martinez is hot. Sugano is hot. Sugano I had as he sucks. Now I don't. I got to change the Sugano note to the guy's mighty rough. What do we do, Batman? I think we need to put it in the bat computer and see what we get. Which Alfred should we use? I want to use Schmeigel as my Alfred. Why does it take 5 years to come out with part 2 of the Batman? It's crazy. All right. Martinez, excellent ERA, 2.78. Sugano, let's go with that. Let's see what he's done. 1 run at home, 3 runs at home, 1 run at home, 3 runs. Doesn't give up a lot of runs. Well, the 7 was at Minnesota. Okay, so it's 8-1-7-3-2-1. So he either shuts you out or collapses. Tampa, they played a high-scoring game yesterday. I don't know which way to problem solve anymore on this game. I think it's an under 11, and Martinez and Sugano. I got to look at it again. Martinez is 6-1 his last 7, and Sugano is 7-1 his last 8. So you can't even go there because they're both winning. They're both hot. I honestly think this is an under game unless Sugano falls apart. So if he pitches the way he's been pitching, this will be a 3-1 game, and this will be under 11 by a mile. All right. Don't like it. I was going to go all Martinez. I didn't think Sugano was any good, but he's pitching well, so I want to go Sugano, but I don't want to go against Martinez. So you're fucked. But that's a game. You just either bet very carefully or you don't put a lot of money on it. You break it down and you can't come up with an answer. You don't play it. There's other games, believe me. I found like yesterday with Jesus. That's what you're looking for, is that there we go. It'll be there. Baltimore, California at Baltimore. Baltimore 119-8. Detmers 403 against Trevor Rogers 429. This seems like an over, except for California doesn't hit. Detmers lost his last 5. 3-2, 1-0, 2-1, 7-6, 5-2. Not a lot of scoring in his games. His last 6, 2 runs, 5-5, 0-1-2. He's given up another 5, and then he hit. So it's 0-1-0, 5-2, 5-5, 0-1-2. Both the 5s were against Boston and Texas, and they don't hit much. Trevor Rogers for Toronto, or no, Baltimore. I was going to say, I thought we already did Toronto. Baltimore, he is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6-1 his last 7. His last 6 games, 1 run, 0, 1-1, 2. And then for some reason, it's 6 innings, 8 hits, 7 runs. 94 pitches against Detroit. They play a 10-9 game. Detroit's starting to hit. They just have no bullpen. So let me look at Detmers again. Okay, this. All right, here's a free one. Take Baltimore. I'll go 3 units on them. Why? Because Rogers is hot. Detmers has lost his last 5. Simple as that. California doesn't hit. Baltimore can hit. It's at Baltimore, so California is tired from the flight. Probably yesterday or Monday they flew in. The Mets at Cleveland. We got Cleveland minus 107, 7.5. The Mets won yesterday. Scott with the 3-0 against Bibby with the 3-8-2. Scott is 6-3 his last 9, 2-2 his last 4, and his last 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 are unders. Well. 3, 6, 2 runs, 3, 0, 0, 3, and a 1. So we got an under game, it looks like. Tanner Bibby, what do you got? 3.82 ERA. The Tanner. Been in Cleveland all 4 years. 2.98, 3.47, 4.24, 3.81. And this guy pitches 25, 30 games a year. And his last 6, he's 2-4 his last 6, a couple of unders. And his last 6, 5 runs, 6 runs, 1, 2, 3, and 2. All right. Oakland, Cincinnati, Lopez against Louder. I think Louder is a trade. I don't know. 149, 9.5. Lopez, 5.75. This guy stinks. And he's 1-5 his last 6. and he's given up 7 runs, 4 runs, 0 in an inning and 2/3, 2-0 and a 2. So he's pretty weak. 5.75 ERA. Louder. No, he's still on Cincinnati. 5.42 ERA. This guy's stuck. Sucks. 2-2 his last 4. 3-3 his last 6. I don't know. Is he a bullpen guy? He went 3 innings, 2 innings, 2 innings, 2 innings, and then 5 and 6. Shutout 1, shutout 8, 2 and 2. 8 was in 2/3 of an inning. So this guy's pretty much a pig, as is Lopez. But Oakland's not hitting. I can't. This is an over game, but Oakland's not hitting, and I'm not sure Cincinnati is either. So now I got to go fifth dimensional to the pitchers are an over, but the hitters, even though they're bad pitchers, can't hit. Oakland against Detroit, they got shut out a couple times. It's crazy. They're playing very bad ball. Cincinnati's okay, 54-58, but I'm going to have to take a pass on this. Washington at Philly, the Redskins and the Eagles. Eagles minus 185, 9.5. Jay Irvin, 5.62. And the Eagles really don't have a quarterback I can go back to, like a Montana. 6.93 for Painter. This appears to be over right off the shoot with these ERAs. Irvin for Washington is 3-2, 3-3. His last 6, 4 runs, 6-3, a shutout, and 5. This guy gives up a ton of runs. Philly will take advantage of that. Andrew Painter, big boy, 6'7". Wow. From the Calvary Christian Academy in Florida. These scouts will go anywhere to find talent. And he's lost his last 6. 2 runs, 4, 6, 5, 6, and 2. And Irvin, see now I got to look something different in Irvin. I'm looking at his totals. He's 3-3. Gives up a lot of runs. All right. Here's your third free play. Philadelphia, go over 9.5. And that'll be 3 units. So there's your 3 games. Houston, Baltimore, and the Eagles to go over with this pitcher. See, notice how we bet on Sanchez and we bet on Zach Wheeler and we bet on Jesus. But Painter, we're not touching him. He's got a 6.93 ERA. What the fuck is he doing in the league? Philly with a great rotation, almost as good as Milwaukee's. And both these pitchers suck, and the total's only 9.5. So go over Philly. St. Louis again. Let me see if Skeens is going oh yeah, Skeens is going today against Harrison. Oof. Woof. All right. Yankees, Palentine against Will Warren. Let's see. Who's this? Palentine is 1-2 and 2-4 his last 6. 5 runs, 0, 6-3, 0 and 2. So he's pretty good. Well, a 5 and a 6 and a 3 in there, but he's had 2 shutouts. A 5-inning one against the Cubs. They won 17-1. Sounds like a fixed game to me. And then a 7-inning shutout against Cincinnati. Okay, that makes more sense. Then the Cubs beat them 4-2. See, here's a revenge game. They beat the Cubs 17-1 in the Cubs. Then they play the Cubs at home, and the Cubs win 4-2. Revenge game, maybe. Depends who pitched in those games. So, again, this guy does give up some runs. Palentine. New York does not hit, as we saw yesterday. Will Warren. Let's see. Well, he had a 4-game losing streak, 1-2, lost 1, 1-1. So he's 3-1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 3-5 his last 8. Some overs, some unders. His last 6, 2 runs, 6 runs, 1 shutout for 2/3 of an inning, 6 runs, and then a 6-inning shutout, 88 pitches to the Cubbies. They won 2-0. So this guy's all over the place, Will Warren. His last 10, 3 runs, 2 runs, 6, 5, 2, 6, 1, 0, 6, 0. What the fuck? 153, 8.5. I can't go over with the Yankees. I mean, I looked at the batting average, and this was the game, and there's 2 guys hitting 0. Yeah, I can't. I don't know what the fuck's going on. Let's watch this game, not play it. I got a Scanes game I'd rather focus on. The White Sox and Boston, the Red Sox. Ooh, good game here. Boston 127, 8.5. I got Sean Burke, the goalie from New Jersey, 3.36 against Sonny Gray, 2.95, and they're both good pitchers. I think we won with Burke last time. Yeah, he beat the Yankees 2-1. I wondered how I won it, and because Burke had won his last 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. He's 6-1, so now he's 7-1 for the White Sox. And his last 6 games, 2 runs, 1-1, 0-3-0. So he's pitching outstanding. Nowhere near his 3.36. He's in the 2s ERA wise. Sonny Gray, 2.95. Sonny's been hot. They took him out after that 1-hitter, and we lost the under on it. It was amazing. Sonny Gray's last 1-1, 2-1, 3, 4, 5, 6-1 his last 7. Been red hot. Shutout, 1 run, 1 run, 1 run, 5 and a 4 the last 2 games to Toronto and Oakland. See here, Oakland gets 4 runs. I can't figure that out. Sean Burke's just killing it. All right. I already gave you 3 free plays, but this is a good one. I like this one a lot. All right. Miami at Atlanta. Atlanta 123 and 8.5. Perez 3.46 against Lee Elder, the golfer, 3.8. They both have 3.4, 3.8 ERAs. Miami does not hit. Atlanta, I don't know. Miami's lost the last 4. The pitcher Perez, 0-4, 3-4 because he won 3 before that. Well, let's go 0-4. And his last 6, 1 run shutout, 2-0, 3-2. He's pretty good. Good under pitcher. And Lee Elder from Texas. And he's 3-1 his last 4. His last 6, 8 runs, 5, 4, 2, 2, and 1. All right. Minnesota, KC. I don't even want to look at it. KC 116, 8.5. Dean Kramer for 6.5 ERA. Cameron 4.92. If these teams could hit, I would go over. Dean Kramer has a Baltimore hat on. Yeah, they must have just traded him. He pitched all 7 games for Baltimore at the 6.50, and now he's on Minnesota. Who knew he'd get traded? He's 1-3 his last 4. He got hurt April 18th, so came back July 1st. He's 2-3 his last 5. Last 6, 3 runs, 1, 4, 2, 6, and 8. So he's basically a pig. Cameron for Kansas City. He's 1-6 his last 7. His last 6 games, 6 runs, 5-7, and then 2 shutouts after the 5-7. What do you make of it, right? 5-7, Baltimore and San Diego, and then he beat the shutouts were against Detroit and Minnesota. Good luck. But he's 1-6. So what is Kramer? I think Kramer's a pig too also. Yeah, so it's not like we can bet Kramer over maybe. I don't know. All right, game of the day, Pitt at Milwaukee. Milwaukee 126-7. We got Scanes 392 against Harrison 304. Harrison is their second pitcher. So there's Mizrowski, Harrison, and they have another couple. They got a real good team. They're the best team in the league, and then it's Philly and the Dodgers are right up there because they can hit too. Scanes can hit. 6-6 from LSU. Paulie Scanes struggling though. So he lost 8 in a row. Then he won 3 and he lost 2. So he's 3-2 his last 5, but 3-11 his last 8. And he's getting roughed up. They lost 11-0 and 8-7. Scanes' last 6, 8 runs, 2-2, 1, 5-5. Goes 100 pitches pretty regularly, and Cincinnati and the Cubs hit him for 5 runs. So he was hot, beating Milwaukee, Cleveland, and Atlanta. Got killed by Philadelphia. The Dodgers beat him 12-3. He's just not Skane. He's great stuff, great pitcher, but right now he's just in a funk. Harrison, and he's not under. He's pitching high-scoring games. So I'm looking to play Harrison. Now Harrison had won 2, 4, 6 in a row, lost 2, 1, 1. So Harrison is 7-3 his last 10. In his last 6, gave up 8 runs, then a shutout, 2 runs, 3-3. One of the threes was a 2 2/3 inning, and then the last one was a 4-inning one. So he's not pitching well. He did beat Philly 4-0, and he beat Arizona 7-4. Lost to the Cards 5-1, the Cubs 8-2, Atlanta. So if I look at his last 6 games, his ERA gave up 8 runs in 2 innings, a 0, 2, 2, 3, 3. Yeah, his ERA is nowhere near 3. So we actually have probably an over game here. Based on the way these guys are pitching, the total on the game is 7. We know Pitt can hit. We know Milwaukee can hit. We know both these pitchers are struggling. But do we have the balls to play Scanes and Harrison under or over? That's a tough call because these are good, very good pitchers who can both throw shutouts tonight. All right. Should be a good game, though, if they pitch right. That's San Diego, Arizona. Here you go. KC Mize against Bratt. San Diego 129 at Arizona. Mize 272, Bratt 540. Mize, we know, is all unders. What's the point of getting a guy like Mize and then giving him away because you don't want to pay him what he's worth? If you're going to own a baseball team, you understand if you get a guy like Skubal or Mize or Scanes or Harrison or Mizrahi, you're going to have to pay him $40, $50 million. It's just like football. You got to pay Mahomes $50 million. That should not be a surprise to you. If you're going to own the team, you're going to have to pay your players. So what is Detroit's guy doing not paying? So now how are you going to replace these guys? You can't replace them. You got to hope some of the other guys come up and match. And if they do, you're going to let them go anyway. This is the stupidest thing. So Scanes is 2-5 his last 7, a lot of unders. His last 6, 4-run shutout, 2-4, 1-1. So he's definitely an under pitcher. Arizona, Brat from the Georgia Premier High School. He's pitched in 5 games this year. He's 3-2, 4 unders. The 5 games: 1 run, 3 runs, 2 runs, 5 runs, and 1 run. Hasn't pitched more than 5 innings. So not sure. All right. And then we got Detroit at Seattle. This is the last game. We got Seattle minus 153, 7.5. Anderson for Detroit. I think he's a bullpen guy against Ric Flair going for Seattle with his 4.58 ERA. Drew Anderson, bunch of bullpens. Yeah, a bunch of 1 innings. And he's got a pretty bad ERA for that. He's got a 4.24 ERA. Pretty bad. Ric Flair has not been pitching well. He needs to put a figure 4 on some of these batters, and he's just not doing it. He's wooing too much. He's 2-3 his last 5, all overs. This is a mess. His last 6, 5 runs, 2 runs, 4 runs, 3 runs, 5 runs, 5 runs. Detroit's hitting. Anderson. Okay. I know what to do there. So Detroit's been hitting lately. Happy Baez came back. He's hitting. You've added this Bill Clark guy who's a minor leaguer who faced Oakland like Whippy do. And on my foot. I might have to do it like a 3 or 4 day fast. You got a bullpen guy who's really with the terrible. I don't know where they're getting 1.29 ERA. He doesn't have that. Let's look at his ERA for real. Yeah, he's nowhere near that. His last 10, he gave up 2 runs, 1 run, 1 run, 0, 1, 0, 1, 0, 2, 0. In what world is that a 1.29 ERA? These are 1 innings. You give up 1. You give up 1 run in 1 inning. Your ERA is 9. Yeah, he's got a 4.24 ERA. He had a 40 ERA in 2020 for the White Sox. Then in 2021 for Texas, had a 3.27 and hasn't pitched in 5 years. And 4.24 ERA, Ric Flair. Yeah, okay. So we know to this. So that's it. So Houston, we're going 2 units. Baltimore 3 units. Philly over 9.5, 3 units. Those are the 3 free plays. The Scanes game, I'm very troubled by because it's Scanes and Harrison's a great pitching matchup. And so either pitcher can pitch well. I'd say it's a toss-up hitting wise. Both teams can hit. Scanes can't seem to get out of the 4th inning. And, he throws 100 pitches. You look at it, and it's 85 pitches to get out of 3 innings. You're like, what the fuck are they doing? Everybody just hits foul balls off the guy. I don't understand. It's not like he's walking 25 guys. And Harrison, I think, was injured. When's the last time? He hasn't pitched in a while. Kyle Harrison. I don't know where I was. I didn't see him pitch in June. So I guess he hasn't. Okay. So that's what you got. That's how you problem solve. The key to the game is the pitcher. And then, how good is the team? And you go from there. First game, 2-10, Houston and Toronto. And we did play Hunter Brown in that game. Toronto's pitcher sucks. So again, we're looking at the key. The key to the game is the pitching. A good pitcher, you can't hit. Mizorowski, he'll shut you out. Some of these other pitchers just shut you out. Mizorowski, you're not going to get a hit on. Skeens, normally you're not getting hit on. Sanchez, Wheeler, and Jesus on Philly, you're not hitting. So the pitcher dominates. He can strike you out. The hitter does not own the pitcher. The pitcher owns the hitter. So keep that in mind. And I was watching a tape, Koufax against Mantle in I think it was the 65 World Series. And it might have been the 63 or 64. Anyway, he just strikes him out. Boom, boom, boom. Fastball, Mickey misses. A slow curve, and then a fastball. And Mickey's like, didn't have a chance. And that's my point. Koufax will shut you down. Nolan Ryan will shut you down. So you go to the pitcher. But if he's a pig, and I described 10 or 15 pigs in here, just like the NFL quarterback-wise, so you find the key role, and in this case, the key role in baseball is the pitcher. Good pitcher, forget about it. The problem we're dealing with is these idiot managers, this analytics, this pitch count, really killing the game. Idiots like Screwball. Oh, I can only 85 pitches, you go 6 innings. How can you bet that? It's a 1-1 game. They take them out, and I immediately saw the score go Cubs 3-1, and I immediately knew they took Scooble out. Actually, they did. He actually gave up 2 runs yesterday, so it's 1-1, and then it was 2, and then they brought in the other guy, and then he gave up a run, so it was 3-1, but it was partly Scooble's. But why aren't they going 8-9 innings? I don't get the point. So now you don't have Scooble for 5 days, or Mize, or Skeens after today, Mizorowski, you got to wait 5 days to get them. And therefore, what is the point of that, right? If you don't have them for 5 days, why are you babying them with 85 pitches? Why would Scooble only go 85? And don't tell me that's the way baseball is now. That's a bunch of bullshit. If anything, these guys got better arms, right? These are much better players with much. It's all we hear is how the player's much better now than he was 20 years ago. And you're telling me it's digressed in pitching where the guy would Koufax and those guys would pitch 9 innings, no pitch count. Louis Tiant, 163 pitches, 75 World Series, and you got Scooble going 85. Okay. I mean, what a joke. But they want the same money, which is bullshit. You can't get the same money. You get half. You're only going to go 5-6 innings. You're not going to get a 9-inning contract, which is the other thing that they want their cake and to eat it. I want $50 million. That's the pitch 9-inning games. That's the pitch the full game in the playoffs. That's what that's for. You don't do that, so you don't get that. Well, I'll go somewhere else. Be my guest. You're useless. You're not like yesterday. You're useless. Why didn't you finish the game up? So anyway, that's what I'm looking at. So again, Houston, Baltimore, and the Eagles over with the Redskins today. I did play the pit game, and I did play. I played 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. I got 11 games. Some of them I just kind of, okay, most of them I liked, but some I like better than others, which is the whole thought of problem solving. There's going to be easier problems to solve than harder ones. And those are the higher rated games, like the Eagles Redskins today. The Philadelphia's 9.5 over, but both pitchers suck. That should be a 14, 15 inning, 15 run game. So that when you solve that problem, but when you look at some of these other ones where the pitchers shutout, 6-6. Well, which pitcher am I getting? That makes the problem harder to solve because you're getting such different variables that blow in. Well, is the guy going to throw the shutout, or is he? That's why I like Zach Wheeler. It's all ones and zeros. Like we know what he's doing. But with Scooball, it's the same thing. I ended up betting the game under. Well, I think I gave you that. No, I didn't. I took the game under yesterday, and no, I'm talking the Cub game. I bet the Cubs under 9, and I keep thinking Scooball's back on Detroit. So the Cubs under 9, but even with that, with Scooball, I couldn't bet Scooball to win because you're not going to pitch the whole game. And it was at Chicago, and I liked the game. I thought it'd be low scoring because Assad's a very good pitcher. And, Scooball, I just don't get him. Too many. He's too much of a baby. He's too injured. He's too old. And I would not sign him to more than 2 years. I just don't trust him. And only if he's going to go at least 8 innings in a playoff game. If he's only going to do 5 in Seattle, I don't want him. You're wasting your time with that. It's not good. So anyway, keep your eye on that. So why don't we check? Let's do a little college football. Let's just do the big games. I'm not going to go through everybody. We'll go through week 1A, and then I hate when they call it week 0. It's like, seriously, dudes, it's not week 0. It's week 1. How do you call it week 0? All right, we'll look at our scores and odds. Again, it starts 8:29. I would say bye by 8:24, 8:25, whatever that Monday is. And I will post those games probably even before that, probably a couple days before it. A couple of real good games I like. TCU 748.5. Really hasn't moved. North Carolina, the game's at TCU. North Carolina, an under team, but they brought in a new offensive coordinator, the guy from Louisville, Brian Brom, and TCU's got a new quarterback since they let Hoover go to Indiana. I don't like that at all. Hoover's TCU guy, should stay at TCU. So North Carolina's got a new transfer quarterback, and TCU's just got a new one, both with 25 defenses. Let's see. All right. 3 o'clock game, we got USC 38.5 and 59.5. This started at 35. San Jose State's a W team with a 33 defense and a new quarterback. USC is a B team with a 22 defense. And Maya V is back. So this game will be over at halftime. NC State, Virginia. Virginia, 5.5, 54.5. NC State's an over team. Bailey's back, quarterback. Over team, 29 defense. And Virginia is a B team with a new transfer quarterback and a 20 defense. So Virginia, pretty good. NC State, this should be a game. Bailey will come in. So we will see. Again, it's 5.5, 54.5. I want to see something in the USC game. Yeah, that's what we got. Okay. Jacksonville State, North Dakota State. North Dakota State's now Division I. They're 7.5, 48.5. So I don't know. They're favored. Jacksonville State was an E team with a 26 defense, returning quarterback last year. I don't know what North Dakota State is. They played Division, two. They played high school teams. Sacramento State, Eastern Michigan. I don't know. Sacramento State's also new to Division I. Eastern 8.5, 53.5. We got Sacramento State. We don't know what they are. Again, playing high school teams. Eastern is an E team with a 30 defense and the returning quarterback. And okay. Florida State, 31.5, 52.5 to New Mexico State. New Mexico State's a W team with a 28 defense, returning quarterback. Florida State's a B team with a 22 and a new transfer quarterback. And they're laying a lot of points. I don't know. Florida State cannot get a quarter. You don't have a quarterback, you don't have a team. And when they signed Uglia Buglia, you knew they were in big trouble. I don't know. They have a good coach. They had that good year with a great defense, but I don't know where that went. Maybe they don't trust the coach anymore. Maybe he brings in Uglia Buglia. They look at him like he's nuts. Anyway, so I got Florida State minus or a B team with a 22 defense. Hawaii, Stanford. This is confusing me. Stanford 4, 50.5, up from 3.5. Hawaii an A team with a 23 defense and the quarterback's back. Stanford's a Z team with a 29 defense and a new transfer, Warren from Michigan, who absolutely sucked there. Couldn't even complete a pass. So I don't know. Why is the spread going from 3.5 to 4? I mean, Hawaii's on the West Coast. Oh, okay. Yeah, doesn't make any sense. And our last game on the 29th, Memphis and Vegas tangle. This is 5.5 and 58.5. Vegas favorite in Vegas. Memphis, an A team last year, but we don't know. They got a new coach, a 22 defense, and a new transfer quarterback. Vegas is an over team with a 29 defense and a new quarterback. So we will have to see. That's where we're trying to, let's analyze that game. After the game, we'll box score it and say, okay, what's going on? Generally, they got pretty good players at both schools. Memphis has always been good. They got a good coach. I think they're a live dog, and I think it's a live over based on the way these teams play. That's what we'll have to see. All right. Now week 2 starts 9-3 and goes till 9-6. So let's just go for the big games here. I don't want to go through every game. And I got to hit week 2, even though it's week 1B. All right. We're just looking for big games. Ooh, Merrimack plays Delaware. There you go. Georgia Tech 751.5 to Colorado. Georgia Tech's a B team, but they lost Haynes King, good quarterback. A B team with the 25 defense. Colorado a Z team with the 30. They're starting a freshman at quarterback. They are terrible, Colorado. I'm looking for bigger games. Excuse me. Michigan State, Toledo on 9-4. Michigan State's 11.5, 49.5. Toledo's an 18 with a 12 defense, gets a new coach and a new quarterback, but the system should be there. Michigan State's a W team with a 30 defense, and the returning quarterback, who was like this third stringer, who was pretty good when he did get in, and a new coach, the guy from Northwestern, whatever his name is. Possible upset with Toledo here, being the A team with the 12 defense. Now, granted, it was against MAC teams, but still, Michigan State was terrible. Quarterback has transferred, the starter. USC then comes back with Fresno State. So they start with San Jose State. So everything's in state. USC 23.5, 51.5. Fresno State, an under team with a 20 defense, gets a new quarterback. USC, a B team with a 22 defense, gets a returning. As I said, excuse me, we got Maya Villa back. So we'll keep our eye on that one. We'll have to see what USC does to San Jose State. And then here comes Fresno State, who's usually pretty good. Miami, Stanford, Miami 23.5, 49.5. Miami with the they didn't Venshaw. They got a great quarterback now. And should be right up there again. Should be right up there as a top 3 or 4 team. Damn, Indiana, Ohio State, about it. You notice, look what happened to Alabama. They changed coaches. They get rid of whatchamacallit, and they bring in whatchamacallit. They brought in DeBoer, and they got rid of whatever his name. I can't remember his name. Anyway, DeBoer, and it's a totally different team. They're not running the Steelers 70s defense anymore. And basically, their defense is a little bit weaker, but now they're this passing game and work with Penix. I didn't really see it last year, and then in the playoff game, they didn't show up. So DeBoer's a good coach, but how good? It's like Scott Frost leaving Southern Florida for Nebraska, and he was in way over his head. And I feel a lot of these coaches, they make that small move, like they'll go to like Cincinnati or they'll go to Pittsburgh or something. But then when they go to Alabama or Notre Dame or LSU, they're in big trouble because they're not that good of a coach. So we'll see how good Kiffin is going to LSU. That's a big jump. Let's see what else. Good game. James Madison, 6.5, 52.5 to Liberty. Liberty, a B team with a 26 defense, and James Madison, an A team with a 15. New quarterbacks for both. New coach for James Madison. The coach, Chesney, goes to UCLA. Now, will they be Indiana? They could be. Same coach, same coaching standard. Indiana, 40 and a half, 54 and a half to North Texas. North Texas totally changed. I don't know what they are now. They were an over team. They were a great team, great quarterback, great coach, and they're all gone to Oklahoma State. So we're looking at, we know what Indiana is. They actually improved because Hoover's a much better quarterback than Mendoza. And then North Texas, switching from a passing team to a running team really makes no sense. All right. We got Ella fucking Bama, 28 and a half, 54 and a half, up from 26 against East Carolina. East Carolina, a B team with the 20 defense, new quarterback, and Alabama, an A team with the 17 defense and a new quarterback. So I don't know. Alabama normally kills this first week, but that was under what's his name, and now DeBoer's the coach, Nick Saban. That's who it is. So under Saban, they would win the first game 50-0 against anybody, and now I don't know what you got with. I don't know what you got with this guy. Let's see, DeBoer. Army's got Bryant. Got to be a good game. Ohio State, 50 and a half, 56 and a half total to Ball State. Ball State's a W team with a 30 defense, new quarterback who's a Division II quarterback. Ohio State, an A team with an 8 defense. Now, this is, I'm not sure if this is the last 6 or not. Just a killer defense, and the quarterback's back. And, of course, Smith, the receiver's back. It's tough because it's the fourth quarter and you pulled your starters because you're up 50 points. And will you finish the deal? Ohio State's very conscious of the point spreads. So if they're anywhere near the 50, or in our world 44, they will cover that. So keep an eye on that one, even though it is a very big number. Ball State, a W team, not a Z team. Keep your eye on South Carolina this year. They're 34 and a half, 52 and a half to Kent State. Also a W team, Kent State, 33 defense. Quarterback's back. South Carolina is a B team with a 22. They brought in Broyles to be the OC, and that should help Sellers. So look for South Carolina to be much more explosive this year. But I'm not sold on Sellers, and I'll probably have a good year with Broyles. The father was the coach. You know, they scored 80 points a game. So he knows their offense. So keep that in mind. So look for South Carolina, much more offense. Georgia's got Tennessee State. Okay. Penn State, keep an eye on them. 24 and a half, 54 and a half. To Marshall. Should be a pretty good game. Marshall's a real good team. They're an over team with a 30 defense, returning quarterback. Penn State is a B team with a 21 defense, but they brought in the Iowa State coach who's very good, and Rocco Breck came with him. So I think Penn State will have their best year in a long time. They finally got a good coach and a good quarterback. We know their running backs are there, and you know they're going to have a great defense. So look for Penn State to be not a surprise team, but a top 10 team. They'll give Ohio State all they want. With one thing that Matt Campbell, the Iowa State coach, always did was play Oklahoma and Texas very tough, and he'd beat them a lot. There was a lot of times he beat Oklahoma. So when they get Ohio State, be careful of that upset there. All right. Texas has Texas State, 31 and a half, 59 and a half Texas State an over team with the 31 defense, quarterback's back. Texas a B team, the 20 defense, and unfortunately Arch Manning's back. Arch Manning's way overrated. Good defense for Texas, the 20 defense. But they ran into Georgia too many times and couldn't handle. So a real good defense gives Texas problems. And week 2, they get a real good defense in Ohio State. That'll probably be an under. If anything, if it's anywhere close to 50, it's a lock under. We'll see what we get. And it might be out there already. I know when I was in Vegas years ago, Ohio State had beaten Michigan like 18 times in a row, and Michigan was favored because of the Urban Meyer, I think, is his first year or something. I don't know, it was the guy after Urban Meyer. And I had Ohio State plus 3.5. It was about in August. I went, and I didn't realize they had these like good matchups later in the year. You know, Army, Navy, Oklahoma, Texas. You could bet on those games in August. So I jumped on Ohio State plus 3.5. When the game came out, Ohio State was a 10-point favorite, and they won by 25. So I love that. And the smart ass, oh, did you bet $1 million on the game if it's such a good game? And I said, all I said is the line's wrong. Ohio State should be favored. And I was right. I had Ohio State plus 3.5. The line came out -9 for Ohio State. So don't fuck with me, Mr. Guy at the Venetian. All right. Oregon and Boise. Oregon 24.5, 52.5. Boise can play these type of games very well. They're an A team, 23 defense, and Maddox is back, quarterback. Oregon an A team with the 14 and Dante Moore, and I don't think he's all that. He ain't the number 1 quarterback, and he's not the number 1 pick. That's ridiculous. So look for Oregon. 24-52. I think that number is a little high. Boise will give them a game. They're not afraid of Oregon or going in there. They went in there a lot and won. Baylor and Auburn. Auburn 759.5. Auburn's a B team, 20 defense, and a new transfer quarterback. And I think the coach, I think the transfer's from Georgia Tech or something, but he's a pretty good quarterback. Baylor, I don't know. They brought in freaking Langway from Florida. He sucks. I don't get that anyway, unless they're just going to run option football. Baylor an over team with a 32 defense. Jesus, they suck. And it's at Auburn. Interesting game. My favorite game is UTSA plays UT Rio Grande something. They're the Valley, Rio Grande Valley. UTSA 30.5 favorite. They might be tempted to take the Rio Grande there. Oh, God. Oklahoma State, Tulsa. Oklahoma State 13.5, 61.5. Remember, Oklahoma State gets the North Texas coach and quarterback, which is crucial. And I'm sure a lot of other players transferred. And they had a pretty good team, North Texas. Tulsa, a W team with the 29 defense with the returning quarterback. But Oklahoma State, we'll see what they go to. An over team with the 33. I don't think North Texas, I think, was a much better defense. So look for the new coach to come in and do something. But it's the quarterback that we're all so we'll see. Oklahoma State and Baylor and TCU will be 100-point games. So now the Mountain West has merged into the Pac-12, which is the Pac-8 right now. So Boise, San Diego State, Utah State went into the Pac-2 to make it a Pac-8. Some other teams went into the Mountain West, including Northern Illinois, which didn't make a lot of sense to me. We'll keep an eye on Vanderbilt against Austin Peay just to see the new who's replacing Daggio if he's any good. He won't be as good as Daggio. Michigan 26.5, 47.5 to Western. Michigan a B team with an 18 defense. Western an under team with an 18 defense. Both quarterbacks return, but we hope Utah doesn't use underwear. He's terrible. What I heard from my friend at BYU in Utah, and he said that the Utah Whittingham's the new coach, brought in a strength and conditioning coach and some of his other coaches, and they basically said Michigan was very weak. And so now, after the new strength and conditioning program, they're much stronger and better at that. Okay, 9-5. LSU 10 and 50.5. Where's that? All right. Clemson, an E team with a 20 defense and a new quarterback who was the backup the last couple of years. And LSU, an under team with an 18 defense. They got a new quarterback from Arizona State who's really good. You got Lane Kiffin, who's an over guy. So look for LSU to put up 40, 50 points a game. It must just be the type of offense that Kiffin runs is good for that. LSU always has good receivers and good running backs, and you give them the Arizona State quarterback. So look out. LSU will be very good. Clemson, I don't think will be. I think they're all done. The players, why would anybody go to Clemson instead of LSU or Ole Miss or Texas or Oklahoma? Why would you go to Clemson? Even now, Miami, right? Let's see. Okay, Vegas goes to Hawaii, and our kind of round robin here. So Hawaii's at Stanford the first game. Vegas hosts, I think, Memphis. Now Vegas goes to Hawaii, and Vegas is 1.5 point favorite, 58.5. Line hasn't moved. Both these teams are over teams. Vegas 29 defense, and they get a new transfer quarterback in. Hawaii is an over team with the 24 defense, and their quarterback's really good, is back. So probably an over here. The over is only 58. That seems really low for this type of game. Mississippi Valley State, Jerry Rice. Where is he? UCLA at Cal. Cal 1.5, 54.5. Be very careful here. UCLA's got the James Madison coach, Chesney. They will be much better than they've been. Quarterback's back. Cal, an even team with the 27 defense and a returning. And in this series, it's very rare UCLA's the dog. UCLA's usually the better team, better talent. So they will be pissed they're the dog in this game. But we're not sure how long is it going to take the James Madison coach to apply all this stuff and for them to take it and get the right players. Washington State on the 6th. Washington 21.5, 50.5. Washington State's an under team with a 20 defense, gets a new quarterback. Washington's an A team. I believe they get a new coach too. Washington, an A team with a 19 defense. They brought the quarterback back who doesn't want to be there or is just about money, and we'll see. And, he's a 21. They're laying 21 and 50 at home. Washington could kill them here, I think. Wisconsin, Notre Dame. Notre Dame at home. We know Jesus will be there, the Pope, the God will be there. They'll all be in like the first row. Notre Dame's an A team with the 17 defense. Wisconsin an under with the 22. Wisconsin gets a new transfer quarterback, and Notre Dame's got Carr, who's good. They'll easily replace Love, as I've been saying. He was okay running back against Army, Navy, and Syracuse, but he didn't show up against Miami. So 10 carries, 30 yards, doesn't get it done in the NFL, fella. Arizona with a huge problem drafting that guy third or fourth. So Notre Dame, the A team at home. I think it's at home and not at Ireland or whatever. And our last game, Louisville, Old Miss 6.5, 56.5. Louisville, a B team with a 21 defense, a new quarterback, and the Ohio State. He was Ohio State's backup, so he's like a third stringer. And then Old Miss, an A team with a 20 defense, has Trinidad and Tobago back. So we will see how they are without the laner, Dr. Kiffin. We will see. So that's most of the college football week 1A, 1B, I call them. You get all these for the same. So if you pay, it's $75 for a week of college, you would get 1A and 1B. So you'd get the whole kit and caboodle, mostly the caboodle. You would get all that for the one price. Now, if you want, you would then for $100, you would then get all the college that the for week 1A and week 1B and the pros. So that's usually your best value for the week would be playing both pro and college for 100 as opposed to just playing one for 75. For another 25, you get all the pro or all the college. I usually have 8 to 10 games of both because I problem solve them. So after you dig into it, you can see how many games I came up with pretty much. So why, you go to a handicapper and he gives you 2 games, doesn't give you an explanation, they lose. He's like, well, oh, well. So that's what you're trying to do. Time for a haircut soon, I think. I don't know. Well, this whole thing grew in pretty nicely. So that's good. So I'm using my castor oil. Now I'm putting some baking soda in it. Anyway, so that's college football. So I go through every game and I problem solve it. I rank the team. Well, how do I rank I rank the team. So I don't listen to anybody else. I take my A's and my Z's, my overs and unders. Then I look at the pairing in the game, and I see like Ohio State and Ball State. And so I look at the Ball State, a W. And so I'm looking for Ball State with a weak defense. They have a 30 defense. So Ohio State will be able to move the ball on them. They'll be up 35-0 at half at least. Ohio State, okay, they're the A team. Great defense, good quarterback, good receiver. Bo Jackson came out of retirement to play for Ohio State. So you look at that game and go, oh, okay, I'll take X, Y, or Z. And then you just keep going. So you find 6 or 7 or 8 favorable games, and those what I play. The lock comes in when it's like really, something that like the line's wrong. There'll be an over game or like this Oregon Boise game, 24, I think is a little high. I don't think the line should be that high. Or you look at some other games and you kind of, that total's wrong, it should be higher. So you're looking at what you think how teams match up. And so it's always a puzzle matching the team up, and then you're trying to get what you want to do with them. So you're looking for the mismatch. I'm looking for weak defenses, and I'm looking for strong defenses. Now, week 1's a little bit tougher because you don't know. This is all last year's data because I don't have anything for this year. However, we do know Ohio State will be Ohio State and Oklahoma and Texas. We know exactly what we're getting, especially with Arch Manning back and the Ohio State quarterback back. Once you have those quarterbacks back, then you're not going to lose your defense. That's why it's important to have the same coach. So that's why it's important to know the coach and the quarterback. So now I analyze the quarterbacks. So even though Arch Manning's back, I still think he stinks. I think he didn't show up against Ohio State. He didn't show up against Georgia, and he was average against A&M. So I don't care what he did against Michigan in the bowl game. Michigan didn't play any of their players. They sat out 30 guys. So you're going to talk about Michigan's third and fourth string that he had a good game. Oh, now he's there. Let's make him the number one draft pick because he beat Michigan with their fourth string. Like, come on. So I analyzed him against Georgia and Oklahoma. And did he even play? Georgia, they got 10 points on, Oklahoma 20, but I know there was like a punter kick return and the like a big pass play or something, but he didn't do anything in the game. And we know what he did against Ohio State, 14-7. So let's see what he does against Ohio State this year, but I'm not counting on him. So I can evaluate the quarterback. That's why Daggio should be he should be the starting quarterback on half the NFL teams. And nobody's taking him. Like, what's going on here? Collusion, very, very much. I don't know what they don't like about him, but he's the same height as Kyler Murray and Steve Young, and it's not having a problem. He seemed to do okay against Alabama and Texas, so it's not like he can't throw. I mean, it just doesn't make sense. So something's on the line there, and too bad because the NFL is missing a good quarterback, and they get to throw out C.J. Stroud instead. Yeah, good move, guys. So that's what I do, and then by watching so much college, when they go into the pros, I already know what I'm getting. I know Mendoza is not the number one pick, and the guy at the Rams is not any good. I don't know why the Rams didn't take Daggio in the third or fourth round. Apparently, nobody took. You could have made him a free agent, and he's much better than Ty Simpson from Alabama. So you can't understand what the pros do. They want to win or not, or do they? What is going on? He's mobile. He's got a great arm, very accurate, just what you want. So it's tough. I think a very good quarterback on Utah is Devin Dampier. Keep your eye on him. Lenore Sellers will have a big year with the new core, only because he's got the new quarterback. I don't think he reads defenses very well. Ohio State will be strong. fucking Bama, we got a new quarterback. We don't know what to expect. He's probably pretty decent, but because he's going to Alabama and he named him as the starter, but doesn't mean anything. Georgia, pretty good. Miami, I like Mensah, very good quarterback. So the keys, the quarterback and the defense, and who the hell the coach is. So you understand the variables, and then it's easy to make a lot of picks because you just match them up. You go, well, this team's got a great offense, and this team's got a terrible defense. The offense is going to light them up. But again, I think like this. Most people don't. That's why I win, and most people don't. I see these things on sports gambling, and the guy lost all his money, and they get in a fight, and the wife leaves him. And not if you're with me. If you can't find a good handicapper or somebody to advise you, yeah, you're going to lose all your money. This is extremely difficult. But I figured, just like I figured out baseball, I figure I win at baseball now. I mean, nobody wins at baseball, and I do. So anyway, that's $25 a week. I'm handing you money there. So football is the same as it's always been. 75 and you get 6 or 7 teasers, pros and college. You can play 4 or 5 team teasers if you want. If you're a buyer, you can ask me, what would you do here? Who do you like there? I want to do a 6-team teaser. And if you're a buyer, I'll give you the best 6 teams, which you should see when I make the play. You'll see the locks. So if I give you 3 different locks, I'd play a 6-team teaser on the locks right off the bat. But yeah, the fact I've been doing this, I've been betting since 68 or 69. Gives you an edge on anticipating what you think is going to happen. I'm predicting future events, but you can do it very well if you understand the variables to do it, and when you can't use the variables. So when Caleb last year, and then you get Ben Johnson in, you can't. There's no trends you can use. You can't use the old trends because Ben Johnson wasn't there. Now I have Caleb and Ben Johnson 1 year of trends. So now when I'm looking at trends for the Bears, I know what to do. So I can see what their strengths and weaknesses are. Maybe they're a bad road dog. Maybe they're a good road dog and a bad road favorite. Maybe they're good at home. Maybe they stink at home. The Lions have swapped. The Lions used to be very strong at home, and now they're a very average home favorite, and they're a very average road dog. When they get in against the big boys, they choke up. They were good when they had the weak schedule. And then as soon as they got the strong schedule, they didn't even make the playoffs last year. And that's what's going to, we'll see what happens with New England. Now, Denver, the difference is Denver gets KC, Oakland, San Diego, who are very good teams. Well, not Oakland, but KC and San Diego are good teams. So Denver doesn't matter their schedule, good or strong. Now Denver gets the big schedule. KC will be better because they get the weaker schedule. Detroit will be better with their weaker schedule, but they still will get killed by good teams. Philly, Buffalo, KC, the Rams, Seattle, they'll kill them. They'll do good against Washington and the Jets in Tennessee. So their coach is not very good as a game coach. Dan Campbell doesn't really. Okay, like we pulled the drapes back, the curtains. We pulled the curtains back, and we see Dan Campbell like he doesn't know what he's doing. It was all Ben Johnson, right? Because he sucked in the beginning, and then Ben Johnson came in, and they won a lot of games. Ben Johnson leaves, and now we're going back down, barely 500 last year, and probably not 500 this year. And now we can see the rabbit. It was the mirror. It was a spring there. I'm doing my cousin Vinny, and so now you see him, and then you know how to defend it. You know how to beat him. It's not hard. He lost to Max Browsmer of Minnesota last year. That's how good a coach Dan Campbell is. So it's just pathetic. Anyway, when you're a critical thinker like I am, so I always question everything. Well, why did 9/11 happen? Where was the F-18? Planes just fly into the trade centers? Not a problem. Nobody's there to defend them? Really? They didn't see them from 50 miles away. They didn't see these planes coming. And they didn't put up an F-18 who could get up in 2 seconds. Really? And then they let a second one hit. And then a third building just falls out of nothing, the building 7. And so does that make sense? And you question it. Well, that's what you do in football and baseball. What makes sense? Why did they win? And more importantly, why did they lose? Or why did you lose? So if you attack bets like that and go, why did I lose the bet? I had the Yankees over yesterday with St. Louis. Why did I lose the bet? I went into the box score, and there were 2 guys who had 0 playing. I don't know if it was the Yankees or the Cardinals, but you had 2 guys that hadn't hit before. And you're like, yeah, that's probably why. I think the Yankees had 2 hitters on their lineup, and all these 180 hitters. What is that? Well, they walk a lot. They hit 180. Yeah, but their OPS is high because when they do get a hit, it's a home run. So they hit 5 home runs, strike out all the time, hit 175, and that's good. Yeah, there's a problem there. And I think it hides the fact that the talent level is so bad in baseball that, I mean, look at football. We couldn't even get 5 quarterbacks, right? We got Mahomes, we got Stafford, we got Bo Nix, we got Josh Allen, and I mentioned Stafford. Uh, and that's it. Maybe Daniels if he gets better. The Baker Mayfield's probably right up there. And we'll see about. I don't buy Caleb. Too many interceptions. Joe Montana doesn't throw interceptions in big games. Well, in the Super Bowls, he did against the Cowboys in the catch. He threw, I think there was 4 or 5 turnovers. But that's the thing. Caleb threw the interception in the overtime to lose to the Rams, and everybody just passes that off as, oh well. No, he can't read the defense. This is overtime in a playoff game. You can't throw the ball where the cornerback cuts it and then you throw it right to the cornerback. Like, well, you can't do that. So the fact he did a miracle 30-yard run and hit the tight end when the cornerback got confused doesn't make him a great quarterback. He has a good arm. They all have good arms, but we look at it differently. We look at it, are you going to make us money? And that's why we hate Lamar. How many 14-point leads does he blow against Cleveland and some of these weak teams? Oakland, he'll lose games with big leads in the fourth quarter because he's too stupid to get out of it. The game against Buffalo, he hands the ball to Derrick Henry running into 6 guys. Maybe play action that. Maybe fake the handoff, and since you're really fast, run around the end, get your first down, game's over. No, let's run Henry. No, that's the play. Yeah, there's 6 guys but I can't read the defense. And he fumbles, and then Buffalo wins. And you're like, that's my example. A good Joe Montana would never have done that. So we're Tom Brady. They know the defense, and they know where to go and where not to go. That's why that's what you see. So anyway, that's the key to it. And I figured out the key and all the variables. And I'm still learning more variables that pop in. And then you make these stupid changes on the kickoff. What the fuck you doing? The penalties don't bother me. Penalties are penalties. I don't buy that the games are fixed in teasers. I do think some of them are fixed. Like Super Bowl III was obviously fixed. Earl Morrall must have got a tidy sum to play. And then it's funny, he was on, Don Shula was the coach. And then a couple of years later at Miami, Don Shula's the coach. And here's Earl Morrall again. And he looked pretty good in the Super Bowl. So you wonder, Don Shula has a good eye for talent. How the fuck? Okay, so Morrall's much better than he proved through all these interceptions against the Jets. It was clearly fixed. But in a teaser, I don't know what I would have done. I don't recall betting that game. I was a little too young. I would have probably, knowing that Chuck Noll was the defensive coordinator of Baltimore and they had the best defense, I probably would have went under in the game because you weren't going to score a lot on Baltimore, and you would have thought the Jets had a really good defense. You would have thought with Earl Morrall, they wouldn't have scored a lot on Baltimore. The Cleveland game, they beat Cleveland 38-0 the week before to win the championship of the NFC. And you would have thought, see, that overrated it. But you weren't scoring a lot on Baltimore, and you weren't scoring a lot on the Jets. And with Earl Morrall, it wasn't going to happen. So I probably would have played the game under, but I can't say that. I mean, I can say it, but that, like in the 70s, I would have cleaned up on the unders, but I really wasn't into that or didn't think that logically at that point. I was 12, 13 years old. But the Steelers, I mean, all those games are under before Swan and Stalwarts. So in 71, the Dolphins, I mean, that's always an under, and the Steelers are an under. Oakland, they didn't light it up, but they'd win. Kansas City had a great defense. So knowing now what I do, if I went back into the future, the late 60s to the mid 70s would have been a lot of unders money. But I would have just went back to 52 and got the Mantle card and put it in buy about 20 of them, put them in plastic. Where'd you get the plastic case? Where'd you get this case? Oh, well, I just found it. It was on Mars and I found it. Problem is paying for it. If I use this dollar to go back to 1952 to pay it, the dollar's got a year on it of what's the year of these? I know they're dated here. So this is a 2017 series 2017A. How could I go back to 1952 and use this? For sure, I couldn't use this because the euro wasn't invented yet. So how would we pay for? Well, let me use my credit card. What's a credit card in 1952? So that's the only problem time traveling is how do you bring money with it? Because it certainly would not. Nobody would take it, so you'd have to figure that out. Even gold, it's dated. Oh, you got a 1995 Gold Eagle. Well, it's 1952, and it was only worth 20. I think 25 or maybe 35. It was worth $35 back then. So I could have got about 20 mantles with an ounce of gold. There you go. That's how you figure out the ounce of gold. How many mantles could I bought in 1952? And now how many mantles could I get with my ounce of gold now? And yeah, that doesn't add up. Anyway, anything else? Anything? Let's check our gold. Gold was running. It was in the 42s. All right, there we go. Silver back over into the 62s. Gold 42.37 up $142. That's more like it, but still very, very low for gold and silver. Silver is a $500-$600 an ounce item because it's very limited, and gold should be 10,000 by now because it's only 200,000 tons. Well, that's a lot, Howard. 200,000 tons. China's got 80,000 of them, and Russia probably in the 30s, as does India. Saudi Arabia, that oil, and Dubai, they're buying gold hand over fist. So there's not a lot left. I mean, it's not like the 200,000 you can't destroy it. So it's not like it goes anywhere. It's bought. It's not on the open market. That's probably I need to identify. So there's probably like 180 to 190,000 tons already bought, which leaves you 10, 20,000 tons available, maybe. And that doesn't include us. Now, I don't own a ton, unfortunately, but just people buying 50 ounces here and 50 ounces there. And I know in silver, like Luke owns 2 or 3 of the boxes. So he's got like 2,500 ounces of silver. So as people have more silver, so there's like 1 million tons of silver. Now, most of that gets used up because when you put it in industrial, in the solar panels, you use up the silver and it's gone. Where gold, you can't use up. So that's the key. The gold always will be 200,000 tons. It's just, it's not available, most of it. And that's why the price should be much higher, because the price should be on available gold, not even the 200,000 tons, but what's available. And that's clearly much more than 10, 15,000. The U.S. has to reprice the gold, as I showed you with Mark McGuire yesterday. They can't sell it at $40 an ounce when it's worth $4,200 now. So their only option is to raise the price and make money on it. So they'd want a $10,000 price. Oh, but then our dollar won't be worth anything. Fellas, your dollar isn't worth anything now. Who are you joking? Neither is this. So your number one goal is to get out of monopoly money. Both of these have been printed to death and are worthless. Oh, it says a 5 on it. Go to Europe, try to use it. What are you going to buy? A stick of gum? And here, we'll go to the grocery store and see how much that won't buy you anything. You can't even get a cherry or a grape with the dollar. So keep that in mind. Even like a bag of chips, it's $2.29 for, the different, not the Doritos, but if you get Better Made, it's still $2.29 for a 3-ounce bag of chips. It's hysterical. So if you have gold and silver in physical, you always buy physical. Once you have it in physical, it has to go up because they can't print it. The supply doesn't go up. The supply is what kills the value. And if you have a high supply, the value gets killed, AKA this and Heckle and Jekyll here. They're both high supply, worthless, as is all the other fiat currency not backed by gold. That's what gold does. It keeps the supply low. If the supply is low, you can't lose the value on it. That's why gold has been around for 5,000 or 10,000 or 20,000 years, whatever you want to do, whatever you want to use. And no, physical silver and gold is not volatile. The paper one that Egon talks about going, well, silver's not for widow and orphans. Paper silver is not for widow and orphans. Physical silver is for the widows and the orphans. If I was an orphan, I'd be buying silver, physical silver. And again, you want to buy in the U.S. You can buy. Well, let's take you to the silver market. So in gold, that's fine. A Krugerrand, 1 ounce fine gold, you're a happy camper. Or the maple leaf, 1 ounce fine gold. This is 1/10 of an ounce. It doesn't matter. It's gold. Nobody's going to question it. It's never going to lose its value. And of course, our eagle, which is a 1/4 ounce for 11.80. And even random year, it doesn't matter the year. You're buying gold. That's what you want to buy, not a collectible. So silver, though, you can buy this bullion, which is not necessarily a country. See, that's 82. So you can see with silver rounds, you can get this. This is not the dollar. This is 1 ounce of silver. There's the buffalo, that Liberty, the Indian guy with the buffalo. That's the other side of it. So you can see any of that is 1 ounce of silver. You're fine with, as long as it says 1 troy ounce, 999 fine silver. You're fine. So this is not the same. So this is the dollar. I don't know why he's got the design and date varies. On the bottom, it says 1 ounce fine silver, $1. Really stupid of this guy. All right, so this is what a dollar coin looks like, 2026. And then the back says $1, 1 ounce fine silver. So these are the actual dollars, but you can get the rounds, which I showed you, the buffalo, and it doesn't say $1 on it. This actually says it's worth $1, which we don't care. We're not going to sell it for $1 when it's worth $74. Why would I want $1 for it? So this is the real money, is the one that says $1, but we don't care. I can go to barbecue and use the 1 ounce round and it's fine. So they don't care about that. But that's what you want to buy. It's just a coin, or there's a bar, or you can go to Costco and get that's a bar. It's from Switzerland. It's a Swiss 1 ounce bar. I prefer the coins because I like coins over bars. And in gold, you don't have to buy 1 ounce. You can buy half ounce, quarter ounce, 1/10 of an ounce, or 20th of an ounce. I've seen some 1/20th of an ounce. So you can buy those. And that's the point of it. So you don't need to buy an ounce of gold. And it's very, very expensive. Well, maybe depends on who it is. So I bought a lot at 17, 1800. I bought this at 250 an ounce in 1995. But in nowadays, 4,000, you're getting a little expensive. But when it hits 10,000, my point is buy some at 4 and then chop it up. I know we had some guys who are buying silver, and I'm saying, well, it's okay, buy a 1/10 of an ounce or a quarter of an ounce of gold to get some gold, because gold's going to go from 4,000 to 10,000. Silver is going to go from 62 to 650. So it will move, but the big money is in gold, and you want to own some gold. You always want some of the gold versus the silver, but that's what you want to buy. It's a lock. You can't lose with it. The only way people lose buying gold is if they don't understand it's paper doing the prices. So they'll buy the paper gold at 5,000, goes down to 4,000. They don't realize that they have physical gold versus paper gold. They don't realize the price of gold is a paper price, and they sell it. But if you understand that it's physical gold is what you want to buy, and this price is not physical. This 4,200 I just showed you is not the physical price. It's the paper price. It's options. It's JP Morgan doing the bullshit with the options, pushing it down. And that's the point. That's a paper price. So when you buy it, you've got a fabulous deal. To buy the silver at 62 is a joke. That's a lock. Just hold it, wait for the physical price, which China's working on, and you'll get $1,000 an ounce. You can't lose. It's a lie. It can't go down. Well, it was $50 more because it was manipulated, and it was a paper price. It can't. If you understand it, it's not we don't care about the paper price. They're coming out with the gold with a physical price, thanks to Russia, China, and the BRICS companies. So if you understand that, just wait for the physical price, and you can't lose. It's a guaranteed lock. Once there's a physical price, it'll be much, much higher. So that is the key to it. So buy physical and then wait for the physical price, which is happening. I know it's been a while, but now you've got BRICS. So what the U.S. has done is they fucked themselves. They kept the price low to avoid competition with the dollar, because who would want the dollar if you can get gold, if gold actually got to the real price. And then, so they do that, and then you have, so you have that, but BRICS bought all the gold, right? I told you, China, Russia, they got probably 80-90% of the 200,000 tons that BRICS probably has. And Africa's buying a shitload as much as they can. They want to go on the gold backed currency. The whole country, the whole continent of Africa, right? There's like 50 countries. They'll all be on the gold standard. So again, the demand's huge, and there just isn't enough supply, and you can't create the supply. So the price has to go way up. It's a lock. And there is a physical price coming because everybody wants a higher price of gold, because that's how much they can print in dollars. And that's it. And so the U.S. fucking around, all the banks are Keynesians. They don't know what they're doing. And we take advantage of that shit. We take advantage of bad information if we know better, and we know better. We know there's far less paper, physical than paper. And now they're coming out with a physical price. That price has to go to the moon. So when you bet your football and baseball and you make some money on it, or you play your poker, you take that and turn it into gold. If you're in Bitcoins, get the fuck out of it before it drops. And you don't have any idea what Bitcoin's doing because it's not real. Oh, here's a Bitcoin. Here you go. Here's a Bitcoin. See it? Yeah. So physical gold, I know how much is out there and I know what it looks like. Paper, Bitcoin is just a Ponzi scheme. Same with stable coin. It's backed by the dollar. The dollar isn't worth anything. Probably not a good idea to back your stable coin with dollars. Well, we're the world's reserve currency. So no matter how many we print, it'll still have a value. No, it won't, idiots. That's not how it works. So keep that in mind. So buy physical and just wait for the physical price. You'll be happy you did. And it's coming very soon. That's why I showed you Mark McGuire yesterday. All right. I think that's it. So we did touch college football, pretty much of the games. Baseball, take Houston, 2 units. Baltimore, 3 units. And the Philadelphia over 9.5, 3 units tonight. And that be it. So if you want to buy my baseball, $25, and I give you all my games. And football is coming up. I would wait till about August 20th, or that time frame. I will post the games. I'll post them early because I've had a long time to study them. So I already know what I'm taking week 1, pretty much. Week 1A and then week 1B. And you can pay me in Venmo if you'd like. Just use my email that's on Teaser King, or just, I think it's on my homepage, my www.teaserking.com. You'll get my email on my homepage, and that's where you're at. So about the 20th of August, the best package is the full year at $750. It's only $35 a week. But if you want to go, I got a lot of guys who just want to do week by week. They go, I know it's more expensive, but I'm superstitious, and every time I do it, I win. So I'm like, okay. So I do get some Venmo. Mostly go through the site. It's PayPal, which is just, I don't know. I don't see your PayPal. I just see that who sent it to me. So I get an email. Joe Blow sent me $100 for this week. They get a password, and then they go in and get the picks. And then, of course, you can email me with questions, comments if you want. Anyway, I've been doing this a lot. I've been betting football since the late 60s, handicapping. I started in the 70s, but it was at the grocery store helping my buddies, giving them games. Doing this probably about 20 years, 25 years, I think, where I actually handicapped and sold it. And that probably about 2000, I think. That's 26 years, probably right around there. But even before then, I'd be picking the games. So this is nothing new. And I stress more over hoping that you guys win than me winning. I know I'm going to win, but I like, you paid me, so I want to make sure that, like the free play today, Houston, I want to make sure Houston wins over the other games I play, because that's for you guys. And that's about it. So watching Amazing Race, I think I mentioned this. They go to Vietnam and they want to be socialists. And you're like, oh my God. So again, that's the concern. Why are you learning socialism, communism? That's what you want. That's a death sentence. You'll all be slaves. That's where we're headed, right? But if we have gold and we are independent, we don't go to the concentration camp. But Vietnam and all these countries that want to be socialist, Canada, you're fucked. You're in big, big trouble. All right, I will leave you there. www.teaserking.com. Have a great day. Enjoy. Houston, Baltimore, Philadelphia over. We talk football, and the gold price is over 4,200. So happy days. All right. Take care, everybody. Have a good day. www.teaserking.com.